case. Thank you so much, Jayasuriya, for joining with us.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, you can go on starting the session.
Yeah, happy evening, guys. This is Jay Surya once again from Tago Medical College. Uh, yeah, today I would like to throw up my ideas about the vitamin A. First of all, let's start with what is known as vitamin. Yeah, let's make it simple. Vitamins are nothing but they are essential organic components or compounds that are required in small amounts for normal growth, maintenance of good health, and for proper utilization of the other nutrients too. Nutrients that our body does not make on its own. Now, we must obtain them from the foods that we eat or via the vitamin supplements. I mean, the medications that the doctor might prescribe you in case of vitamin deficiencies. Yeah. Now, coming to classification of vitamin. In case of vitamin deficiency can be classified, right? Yeah. On the other hand, coming to classification of vitamin, there are two kinds of vitamins. The fat soluble vitamins and the water soluble vitamins. Fat soluble vitamins are the vitamin A, D, and E and K. On the other hand, the water soluble vitamins are the whole series of B complex vitamin and the vitamin C. Now, I would like to stress upon. I would like to talk first of all on the fat soluble vitamins. Fat soluble vitamins, they are, as the name describes, they are generally soluble in fat and absorbed along with the lipids in the form of chylomicrons, which I have mentioned in my previous sessions. Actually, these fat soluble vitamins, they require a carrier protein in order to carry them. For the transportation process, and they get stored in the liver, and their deficiency manifests only when stores are depleted, as there will be an ample amount of storage in the liver if the normal dietary intake was maintained properly. On the other hand, coming to the toxicity, hypervitaminosis may also result. Uh, a single large dose may prevent this deficiency of vitamin, which I mentioned earlier. On the other hand, now coming to water soluble vitamins, water soluble vitamins, once again, as the name describes, they are soluble in water, and their absorption process is very simple, and they don't require any form of protein to transport them. And they are even, they are eventually excreted in the urine, and their deficiency manifests very rapidly as there is no storage, unlike the fat soluble vitamins. On the other hand, the excess is excreted in the urine, as there is no possibility of any toxicity that could be sensed in water soluble vitamins. Regular dietary supplement is required. As I mentioned earlier, water soluble vitamins are vitamin B complex series and vitamin C. On the other hand, the fat soluble vitamins are vitamin A, vitamin D, E, and K. Now, coming to uh, today, I would like to stress morely upon I would like to stress upon vitamin A alone. Yeah, vitamin A is an essential nutrient that is needed in very small amount for the normal functioning of the visual systems and maintenance of cell function for growth, epithelial integrity, and even for red cell protection and immunity and reproduction also. On the other hand, vitamin A deficiency is a major nutritional concern in poor societies nowadays, especially in the lower income countries like India. That's a sad part, right? Now, coming to vitamin A, I mean, classifying vitamin A. Actually, retinoids are the natural and synthetic forms of vitamin A. On the other hand, there are three preformed compounds that are metabolically active and found in animal products. Basically, the retinal, and the retinoic acid. Retinol is the alcoholic form, which is predominantly present in the animal tissues as retinyl ester along with the chain of fatty acids. It's something within the biochemical thing. On the other hand, the retinal or the retinaldehyde, it's also called as retinaldehyde, whereas it is in the aldehyde form. which is obtained by oxidation. I mean, it is a chemical reaction termed as oxidation. Most of us know it. We were taught in our lower classes, which is obtained from the oxidation of retinal. On the other hand, retinal and retinol are interconvertible. On the other hand, now moving on to retinoic acid. It is the acid form. It is produced by the oxidation of retinal. Now, the provitamin carotenoids, also called as beta carotene, it can be yielded from the retinals, which are metabolized, uh, which are formed when metabolized in the body. On the other hand, the beta carotene is found in plants and has got two beta ion rings to mention them. On the other hand, uh, prior to the dietary sources, I would like to mention upon the functions of vitamins. Yeah, the functions. I mean, yeah. Now, in case of vision, vitamin A is a component of the visual pigment, a pigment named as rhodopsin. Retinal is bound to the protein opsin. I mean, rhodopsin is a component which is composed of opsin and retinal, the aldehyde form of vitamin A. Now, on the other hand, moving to growth, vitamin A deficiency causes loss of appetite and slow bone growth, and even it affects the central nervous system. Central nervous system consists of the brain and the spinal cord. On the other hand, coming to reproduction, retinol and retinal are essential for normal reproduction. On the other hand, maintenance of epithelial cells comes under the, I mean, domain of normal differentiation of the epithelial tissues and the mucus secretion. Yeah. Now moving on to what is the role of vitamin A in vision? So there is something called as Wall's visual cycle, or the so-called visual cycle, a process by which light impacting on the retina of the eye is converted to an electrical signal. Now there is a actually signals are generally carried by the nerve. The nerve carries the electrical signal to the brain through the impulse that is
Yesterday, are you there with us? Probably couldn't hear you.
there is a lot of
Yeah, it's okay, but not a bit clear, I guess.
so that I'm in the middle of a highway. Sorry for the inconvenience. Now is it audible?
Yeah, fine. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Now, stressing upon more upon the functions for a normal vision in dim light, maintaining the integrity and the normal functioning of the tissues of the eye. I mean, the epithelial tissues which lines the intestinal and respiratory, and even the urinary tracts, I guess, as well as the skin and eyes too. Now, this supports the growth of the the skeletal compartment of the body too. On the other hand, retinol and retinoic acid function as steroid hormones. They regulate the protein synthesis. Thus, it is also, I mean, it is involved in the cell growth and differentiation. Now, it is also even utilized in certain, I mean, synthesis of certain glycoproteins. Uh, and it is essential for the immune system, as I mentioned earlier. On the other hand, these carotenoids function as the antioxidants and reduce the risk of cancers. What are antioxidants? Antioxidants are, what is the role of antioxidants? Antioxidants are the
Jessore, we're missing your voice.
Sir, is it audible right now, sir?
Yeah, we missed
Sir?
out in antioxidants.
Oh, sorry, sir. Once again, I will explain from the antioxidants. Sorry for the inconvenience, guys. Actually, let me tell the role of the antioxidants. Antioxidants play a key role in inhibiting the production of free radicals, or they will eradicate the free radicals as much as possible from our body. Where the role of free radical is to damage the body tissues. I mean, damage in the sense inflammation. They create inflammation. Sir, is it audible? Sir,
Please go ahead.
hello.
Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yeah. Now I'd like to. I said that I'll stress about the sources, right? Yeah. The dietary sources. Generally, fish liver oils like cod liver oil, shark liver oil are very rich sources of vitamin A. Milk or liver, even egg yolk are good sources of vitamin A, which is present. I mean, vitamin A is generally present in animal food only. Even coming to the vegetarians part, vegetarians get the vitamin A through provitamins of vitamin A, mainly as the beta carotenes, which I mentioned earlier. Now, this beta carotene is generally present in the green leafy vegetables and also in mango, carrot, papaya, even in sweet potatoes, yeah, even in tomatoes too. Uh, yeah. Now, let me move to the deficiency part. Prior to the deficiency, I would like to mention about the store wasting. Now, where does this gets stored? I mean, this vitamin A, being a fat soluble vitamin, it gets stored in the liver, predominantly stored in the liver, where it is stored in the form of it's named as retinol palmitate. Yeah. On the other hand, the I mean these retinol. I mean the vitamin A also helps in the iron transport, where the retinol promotes the synthesis of transferrin. It's transferrin is nothing but an iron transfer protein, and it helps in the iron transport, and hence iron transport is linked with the I mean the hemoglobin synthesis, right? So generally, it also helps in the iron transport. Uh, yeah. On the other hand, the it has also got the anti-carcinogenic effect. That means, yeah, they inhibit formation of tumors. I mean, the cancers. Beta carotene, where carotene has the anti-carcinogenic effect among the other forms of vitamin A. Beta carotene functions as the antioxidant and also reduces, I mean, the risk of cancer, as I mentioned earlier. Now, one second. Yeah, prior to this, I mean, first of all, they'll have to get broken down, right? I mean, as I mentioned, vitamin A is ingested. I mean, ingested the digested form is keratin and the other ingested esters, right? They get broken down into the retinol and chylomicrons. Chylomicron is nothing but the small fatty missile-like structures, which I mentioned in my previous session. Yeah, then getting transported into the liver, the so-called retinal palmitate form, where it is being stored for somewhere around 6 months. Yeah. Moving to the deficiency part. Yeah. Yeah. Deficiency of vitamin is most, I mean, susceptible in the populations of preschool children with low FNV intake, and even in the urban poor, and the people under the domain of alcoholism, or older adults, even people with liver diseases, along with fat malabsorption. Now, generally, what happens in these susceptible populations? The consequences would be something like night blindness, decreased mucus protection, decreased immunity, bacterial invasion of the eye, conjunctival cirrhosis, Bitot spots, ophthalmia, irreversible blindness, follicular hyperkeratosis, which I will mention in the coming slides. First of all, coming to night blindness. Yeah. Prior to that, yeah, I mentioned the causes of the deficiency too. That is generally due to the less intake, or there is a defect in the absorption of the vitamins, unlike the fat absorption. Yeah. Like mentioned about the night blindness, where the visual acuity is diminished in dim light. It occurs as the result of inadequate pigment in the retina. So the darker time increase, darker upshade. Now, generally, what happens? Yeah. Uh, what happens is, whenever we enter into a dark room, pitch dark. I mean, a pitch dark room. What happens? It will take time for us to convert. I mean, for our eyes to accommodate the light present in the room, so that we could at least sense the light, right? Uh, Now, generally, what happens in case of night blindness? There is uh, there is a reaction between the breaking down of break. There is a breaking down of the retina due to the bleaching bleaching effect of the UV rays. So this bleaching causes the breakdown of the retinal. What happens? It has to join once again. I mean, not the retina. It is rhodopsin. Yeah, rhodopsin is broken down into opsin and retinal. Yeah. Now, this is generally found in pregnant women in some instances, especially during the the last trimester of pregnancy, when the vitamin A needs are increased. In this slide, you could see there's a vast difference between a normal person's vision and a person with night blindness. So, moving on to something called as xerophthalmia. I mean, yeah, there was a name for vitamin A deficiency. I, yeah, uh, I'd like to stress upon xerophthalmia. It is most specific uh, vitamin A deficiency, and is the leading and is the leading preventable cause of blindness. Conjunctiva, the white layer of our eye. You could see in the mirror if you just focus on the mirror, where the conjunctiva is whitish part in the eye, which becomes right and might get now conjunctivitis at 9 to transfer what's becomes bleeding and loss, where it loses its shiny, something like a sort of, that sort of thing is being lost. Xerophthalmia is nothing but the dryness of the eye due to the deficiency. Now, if this xerophthalmia prolongs, what happens? This will lead to a condition called as keratomalacia. What is keratomalacia? Yeah, as a matter of fact, keratomalacia is the major cause of blindness in India, where the cornea becomes soft and may even burst. Now, this prolonged xerophthalmia leads to keratomalacia, the so-called softening of the cornea. If the eye collapses, vision is lost, where due to this keratomalacia. Now, moving on to Bidot spot, where tissue spots that develop around the eyeball, causing severe dryness in the eyes. It could be, it's very obvious that there is a grayish white triangular plaques firmly adherent to the conjunctiva. Conjunctiva, as you could As I mentioned earlier, you could see in the slide the white part, right? Yeah. Now, moving to the daily requirement, I mean the normal requirement in the for children, men, women, and even in the pregnant women. Put up in the slide where for children it comes around 400 to 600 uh, gram per day, and on the other hand, for men, it's around 750 to 1000 microgram per day. For women, it's 750 microgram per day, and for pregnant women, it's around 1000 microgram per day. Uh, Moving to the toxicity part. Yeah, prior to the toxicity, I would like to mention about the visual cycle where actually, yeah, there is a series of reaction between uh, there is a optic. What could I say? Uh, there is the structural change in these components, the retinal. Along with the oxidation, there will be transfer between the cis and the trans. Something like 11 cis retinol and 11. Yeah, all trans retinol and so on. Yeah. Now moving on to the toxicity part. Chronic, long term. In case of huge dose or mega dose, possibly uh, damage of the bone. There will be even loss of appetite, skin disorders, prominent along with the headache, dry skin, hair loss could be severe hair or from the septically, international liver due to the toxicity. In this case, yeah, and even vomiting could be seen. On the other hand, there will be increased pressure in cranial cavity in the sense the skull. Where pressure is increased in the cerebrospinal fluid, and there will be disturbance in homeostasis, skeletal lesion, could be seen, there will be tendon at the long bone. Uh, an excess intake of retinol will cause skin disformation. As I said, the excess dryness too will be there. On the other hand, higher intake of the keratin, the so-called beta carotene, may color the plasma on skin. Sir, I'm audible.
Yeah, now you're audible.
Sir, actually, I couldn't. But anyway, I would like to mention about the prevention and control too. Whereas prevention and prevention is better than cure. I just didn't want to put up this slide for treatment, where we can basically prevent vitamin A with the dietary sources itself. I would like to mention about the dietary sources once I talk about the prevention and the control too. Uh, yeah, there is something called short term, medium term, and long term prevention, where in case of short term prevention and control, there'll be administration of, your doctor might ask you to have a huge load of, huge dose of vitamin A. In case of medium term, where you will be asked to have the fortification of food. On the other hand, in case of long term, reduction or elimination of factors contributing to the eye diseases or the ocular diseases uh, will be prescribed. I mean, as a matter of fact, the National Institute of Nutrition, I think it's in Hyderabad. They have developed a simple technology. There is a strategy. Their strategy is to administer single massive dose of vitamin A in oil that is called as in the oil form that is called as the retinol palmitate orally. Retinol palmitate is the storage form which I mentioned earlier. There are the fortification of certain foods such as margarine, dried skim milk. On the other hand, the so-called dalda, which we use, it's also named as vanasapati, I guess, along with vitamin A. The fortification is successful only if
Jayasuriya, we missed you.
sir, is it audible, sir, right now?
Yeah.
Sir? Sir, why did you miss me? Could you please say that? I was talking about long-term actions.
Exactly the same place.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Sorry for the inconvenience once again. Yeah, now the long term, yeah, as I said, the long term is something like the reducing or eliminating the frequency and severity of contributing factors of the eye diseases like protein allergy, malnutrition, the respiratory tract infections, diarrhea, and diarrhea and measles too. Uh, Generally, we love to consume green leafy vegetables or other vitamin A rich food, and uh, breastfeeding must be promoted in case of the newborns, and improvements in the environmental health, such as ensuring the safe, adequate water supply, something like the maintenance of sanitary latrines, to safeguard against the diarrhea. On the other hand, coming to the immunization, which I mean, immunization against the infectious diseases like measles, prompt treatment of diarrhea and other infections. On the other hand, the better feeding of infants and young children too, which might help in the long term of actions.
Probably kindly stay connected. Probably we missed out Jayasuriya
Sir,
on
is
the
it audible?
connection. Probably we missed you
Uh,
in between the connection, Jayasuriya.
so why did I stop, sir? Why did you miss me? In the prevention part?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Guys, sorry for the inconvenience once again. There must be improvement of the people's diet so as to measure, so as to ensure regular and something like adequate intake of foods rich in vitamin A. On the other hand, reducing the frequency and the severity of contributing factors, the so-called protein energy, malnutrition, respiratory tract infections, diarrhea, and measles. Both are, as I mentioned, both are the long-term measures involving intensive nutritional education of our community. Now, since vitamin A can be stored in the body for 6 to 9 months, as I mentioned, and can be liberated slowly, a short-term, simple technology had been evolved, as I mentioned, by the National Institute of Nutrition at Hyderabad. For a community-based intervention against the nutritional blindness, which has subsequently been adopted by other countries too. That was a pride moment, right? The strategy is to administer a single massive dose of something like 2 lakh IU of vitamin A in oil, that is in the form
Your voice is cut.
Sir, is it audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about the prevention part, right? Yeah, the prevention offered by a 6 monthly dosage seems very adequate as measured by the clinical signs of deficiency. I mean, as I mentioned earlier. I didn't make a slide for the treatment because when we can prevent the deficiency by dietary sources, what is the need for treatment? But I'll mention it anyway. Vitamin A deficiency must be treated very urgently. Nearly all the early stages of xerophthalmia can be reversed by administration of the massive dose, something like the 2 lakh international unit or something around 110 milligrams of retinol palmitate, the storage form of vitamin A in the liver, or something like orally on 2 successive days, as prescribed, as per your doctor's advice. And on the other hand, all children with corneal ulcers are given vitamin A, whether or not a deficiency is suspected. Yeah, I guess related to the question part, I would like to mention about the dietary thing, something like the beef, lamb, liver, cod oil, salmon, and tuna. Also, egg that are rich in vitamin A sources that are for the non-vegetarians. And in case of the vegan, I mean, sorry, not vegans, vegetarians, dairy products like milk and cheese, fortified cereals, orange vegetables like raw carrot, cantaloupe, mangoes, bell pepper, sweet potato, grapefruit, and green veggies like broccoli, spinach, beans, mash, and tomatoes. Even dry apricot and cashews are also good dietary sources of vitamin A. Um, I guess that's the end of the presentation. Question.
Thank you, Jayasuriya. Probably, I understand the situation that you are not able to get on with the connections clearly. People, I would request you to post your questions there, either in the chat here, or you can just post it in the website. Probably you can just put on the feedback, and you can just post the questions there in the feedback also. Probably we'll get it answered personally or to all the members who are here. We'll get it answered to overall people on the questions asked by Jayasuriya. I guess that will work out.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jayasuriya, for your time. Probably since you have made the commitment and also you have given your best on it. People, kindly take a look at the chat. I've shared you the feedback link here in the chat. So you can just put it, put your questions also there. And for the questions there on YouTube, probably that will be answered directly in the comment section. Don't worry about it. So kindly take your time in putting all your questions in the feedback so that we'll get it answered to you directly and to the other participants also. Thank you so much, people, for joining with us today. Thank you so much, Jayasuriya, for your commitment. And I know you are traveling right now. So based on your, even though you are traveling, you gave your commitment to the webinar and you're doing it. Thank you so much. So we'll meet you tomorrow evening. We'll meet you all tomorrow morning by 11 o'clock with another one webinar. Thank you so much, people. Bye. Good night.
Thank you very much, man. Good night.